Thank you for joining us on Let's Meet the Author, the online show that introduces self-published authors to the world. Let's join the conversation with our host Guilene and today's guest author.
Hello, welcome back to another set of Let's Meet the Author, a production of Eagle-Eye Videomaker. Today, I have another exciting guest. She is a wife, she's a mother, and she's a leader within a healthcare organization. Please, let's give a warm welcome to the author of Mama Goat Mentality, a guide to becoming the best parent you can be. Please welcome Alicia Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. I really am glad to be here.
I'm so happy. Thank you again for taking so much time out of your day to go ahead and just come on my show.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime.
So I have an interesting question for you. So you said Mama Goat. So I had to look up what GOAT meant, what the acronym GOAT meant. And it says, from what I found out, it said greatest of all time. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is probably one of the most common questions that I get is, where did you get the name Mama Goat? So my son, actually, my teenage son, who's 14 now, started calling me that a few years ago, actually.
Okay.
No idea why. I don't know if he was just buttering up or what, but
Probably
he started
was.
referring to me as Mama Goat.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stuck. He actually tells me that he wants a cut of everything I make because of the name, but
They always do. They always do.
but that's where it stems from.
Nice, because I like it because it's very catchy, and that's what caught my attention. I was like,
Yes.
Mama Goat. Okay, so I love it.
Thank you.
Now, I read your book, and I love it because it is down to earth. All right, every page I understood what you meant. Every page, whenever you wrote something, you wrote a sentence. I love it because I understood everything. Is that what you were aiming for?
Absolutely, and I'm glad to hear that feedback because that was absolutely the goal in writing the book. It seems small in size if you're looking at it, but I did want it to be a very easy read, something that was digestible and transparently. As a mom, I do understand that moms don't really have a lot of free time to do a lot of reading. So
You're right.
I really did want it to be something that was easily digestible. It didn't need to be so deep that it went over people's heads.
Right.
So I'm glad to hear that that was your feedback.
It was. I love it. And it was
Thank you.
non-judgmental. Like it
Yes.
applies to any type of
Yes.
parenting, in any type of culture, any
Yes.
type of city,
Thank
any type
you.
of country. It was right to the point. I'm like,
Thank
okay.
you.
And you're right, because as moms or as parents, we are
Yes.
very, very busy. Because
Absolutely.
this book, I mean, I know it's called Mama Goat, but it applies to dads,
Yes.
grandfathers, aunties. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anytime, if you're raising any type of
That's
child
right.
or family, it applies to all of it. And that's what I loved about
That's
it.
right. You're
I love
absolutely
it.
right. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate it. So on page 11, you mentioned that parenting is shifting in a mighty way.
Yes.
And I know we can all see that the way our kids are growing up and the influences that are happening in the world, especially with everything going on. But why did you point that out? Because you pointed it out immediately in the first few pages of your book.
I think it was important for me to point out because what really stemmed this book transparently, or kind of stemmed it, is just day-to-day interactions with some adults. And being a leader in the corporate America, I deal with a lot of young employees who, you know, they have a sense of entitlement sometimes, and they just don't have the same work ethic or quote-unquote standards that some of us may have been raised with. Yeah. So because of that, it kind of sparked that, and I think it may be a reflection of maybe parents getting younger. I don't know, but
That's true.
It's
Things change.
definitely changed. I will say the things that a lot of parents tolerate these days, I know for a fact, are things that my mom would not have tolerated, or my grandmother for that sake. So.
That is so true. And then that also leads into another point where you said that parents are children's first role model.
Yes.
So I have kids. I'm a mom of many kids and a grandma of many kids. We're not going to talk about how many grandkids and kids I have, but it didn't hit me until when I read in the book, like, I'm their role model, because you would think that the superstars and the music industry and the different shows and other leaders would be their role model. But parents are literally the first role model. So let's talk about that.
That is absolutely correct. And some children may or may not ever admit it, or they may not even realize it, but children are sponges by nature. They absorb what they see. Children are also they're watching you. They're
Right.
observing, and so where we may not always realize it, I just try to keep that in the back of my mind, and I pointed that out because I want other parents or moms to keep that in the back of their
Right.
minds as well, because even when we're not feeling our best, it's important that we be transparent with our children, because they are watching.
They are.
So we want to make sure that they understand in those moments where we aren't so quote unquote perfect. We have those conversations so that they don't look at us any differently, but they are definitely imitating what they see.
Yeah, it didn't hit me. I said, I'm not. I felt kind of good that I was my child's role model, but then I felt intimidated as well, because I know they're watching, but I just never saw myself as a role model. So then as I read through the book, I said, well, one, I see why they see us as a role model, and two, why it's important on how we present ourselves as role models. All right, I want to take a short break to just go ahead and go straight into author's pick.
Hey guys, it's your girl Tiffany here, your favorite social media specialist. I just wanted to go ahead and tune in with you guys very quick because I don't ever want you to miss out. Go ahead and make sure that you like our Facebook page, Eagle-Eye Video Maker. Stay tuned for notifications for great updates and also our lives. Make sure that you go ahead and push that like button.
Hi everyone, Michael Newsom here with Eagle-Eye Video Maker. And I've got some great news for you, but first I want to ask you a question. Have you ever wanted to have your own show? Your very own show? Well, Eagle-Eye Video Maker is making that possible for you. Whether it's a cooking show or an interview type show or spoken word show, it is your platform. You're the artist. Eagle-Eye Video Maker is making possible our studio so that you can come in, we will record your show in 1080p high definition, and our staff will do all of the production work, handle all of the lighting, handle all of the audio and the sound, just to make your show #1. So click the link below in the description box and get all the details. I can't wait to see you so that we can get your show started today.
It's now time for author's pick.
I'm going to be reading an excerpt from the end of chapter 1. I want you to know that it is possible to raise healthy, responsible children in the 21st century. We as parents just need to make sure that we have all the tools that will be necessary to ensure that we're successful. We all know that there is no manual on how to raise the perfect child. And even if there was one, mistakes would still be made. Although we are living in a new age, nothing about parenting has changed. Children need all of the same things that I needed, that my mother needed, and that her mother needed. However, a lot has changed about the world in which we are raising our children. For instance, technology has come into our lives to help make it easier. Indeed, it has, but it has also vastly increased the pace in which we live our lives and raise our children. Everything is more hectic and fast-paced today. But we must make time to slow life down so that we don't get lost and our children don't get left behind. Children have emotional needs that cannot be ignored. And if you're ready to improve upon your parenting skills or to begin rebuilding that special relationship with your children, the process of self-reflecting will help get you there.
So it is interesting that you picked that part to read from your book.
Yes.
Because some people would disagree and some people would agree. Like, is it really possible to raise healthy children in the 21st century?
Absolutely. It is absolutely possible. As I stated in that part of the book, although parenting has shifted, the times have shifted, if you will, children still need all the same things. They need the same things that you and I needed, that our parents needed. So that part of it has not changed. I think that somewhere along the line, we as parents changed.
Gotcha.
And so I think that because of that, it's really just kind of refocusing and getting back to that place as parents.
Gotcha. Because I said, is it possible? Because things change. Like you said earlier, the things that the kids are getting away with, I would never have gotten away with that with my parents.
Absolutely.
And so I do wonder, I'm like, okay, so there is hope. Like there is hope that we can raise healthy children in this century. So.
And I think a big part of that as well is being flexible. So although our children need the same things that we needed, I think that we have to be flexible as well, because there are some things that maybe I may allow my children to have a little bit more communication with me than maybe some of our previous parents or elders did. So it's like taking the great parts about the way we were raised or what our parents taught us and kind of adding a little bit of twist to it based on the times, but not going too far left at the same time.
That's true, because also, like you also mentioned, like there is no secret world of parenting.
No.
And if there is, we
Not
don't know
at
it exists. So,
Not at
so
all.
it doesn't exist. So mistakes are bound to happen,
That's right.
you know. So our parents made mistakes, our great
right.
grandparents made mistakes. But I like the part where you said you take the good part of here and
That's
there,
right.
and so we can raise these healthy children.
right. That's
All right. Also, I love how on page 21. You mentioned different points. You gave different hints and points that we can do to go ahead and continue raising healthy children. You said, listen to them.
Yes.
You know, you got to listen to them.
right.
Kids let them speak freely, apologize to them, which is very hard, I know,
That's a
for
big
some
one.
parents to do.
That is a big one.
Yeah.
Apologizing and listening is a big one. Listening is huge because this day and age, social media is prevalent in
It
our
is.
children.
It is.
So if we're not listening to them, somebody is.
Oh, yeah.
So we would prefer that it be us that's doing the
Right.
listening. Plus, you know, there's, you know, online bullying and things like that
That's
are
true.
happening. And so we want to be sure that we're actually hearing what our children are telling us to ensure that they aren't dealing with that type of
Exactly.
thing, because you see a lot more teenagers and children committing suicide more than ever
Yeah.
before. So I think as parents, it's very important for us to be present in that capacity. And apologizing is big because there is no
Right.
secret world of parenting. You
Right.
are absolutely going to make mistakes, and that is okay. That just lets
Right.
your child know that you are human.
Exactly.
But just because you're the parent does not make you right. It does not. I'm
Right.
here to tell you, it does
Right.
not mean that you are always right. And I can assure you, if you apologize to your child when those moments are appropriate, it's going to build a stronger relationship between the two of you.
I believe it will. There was one time when I was having a discussion with my kids. I was talking about how to build your credit and
Yes,
you know, and
yes.
things like that. And then she brought up something funny. She goes, "Well, I remember a time where you owed me money and you paid me late." I'm going, wow. And then she goes, and then I had to go ahead and I had to apologize.
That's
okay,
right.
well, this is the reason why I did this. And there was another time where I was trying to prove a point, and then she pointed out I was wrong, and I didn't get angry. And
See?
it brought us closer.
Yes.
It brought us closer. As much as I did not want to
Yes.
apologize, I had to realize, hey, in order for us to go ahead and be connected, in order
That's
to get
right.
closer, I have to do it. You
That's
know?
right, because
I gotta
one
humble
thing,
myself.
one thing that's big is that regardless of intention,
Yeah.
if I said something to you that offended you or it may have hurt your
Right.
feelings, I may not have meant it in that way,
Right.
but it doesn't change the fact that it hurt your feelings, right?
Exactly.
So because of that, I must absolutely apologize to
Right.
you, and I have to acknowledge how I made you feel, and that's
Exactly.
big. Same applies to our children. The absolute
Exactly.
same rule applies.
That communication, it opens, and then it would prevent a lot more tragedy. Just like you mentioned
Exactly.
suicide, if they feel like, okay, I can go to my mom, I can go
Exactly.
to my dad, I can go to my parent, whoever
right.
that may be, it would just, you know what I mean, just stop a lot of that going on. So now, parenting styles, you mentioned that. I would like to think I was one certain style, but maybe I wasn't. Maybe I'm more authoritative than
It's true.
the other ones. So right when we come back from break, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the different parenting styles and the questionnaires that are in this book.
Hey guys, how you doing out there today? I just wanted to go ahead and jump in and say hi to you guys and give you guys some great exciting news. Go ahead and join our new Instagram page at Eagle-EyeVideomaker LLC. Not only do you get to see great content, but also you get to advertise your businesses, your products, and your services. Go ahead, like all of our content. Go ahead and let us know what you think. Go ahead and join Eagle-Eye Videomaker.
We're going to talk about the different parenting styles and the different parenting questionnaire that you put in the book that I can just take into my secret closet and ask myself, because that's not answers I want to share. So let's talk about the different parenting styles.
Yes. And I think that you can agree, or we all can agree, that the more strict parenting styles are kind of what happened previously. But just as we talked about a little bit before, I think that as times are evolving, we can absolutely loosen those strings a little bit and allow our children a little bit more freedom or free range to communicate and talk to us. But my children know, and I think I placed that in the book as well. That's a passage in the book, that there are certain things that I'm just not willing to negotiate on. There are some things we can talk about and things that we can discuss, but there are certain standards that I have as a parent, or certain expectations that are non-negotiable. But again, we can talk through it, but it doesn't always mean that I'm going to veer to your side, but we can absolutely have a conversation.
I agree. I like it. And the questionnaire part, I love, because especially when you said this is not to be shared, you simply just do it. And I did it. And I was like, okay. Okay, wow. And it is a lot of self-reflecting, a lot of self-reflecting.
Absolutely. And the reason why I wanted to be clear on not sharing it is because it allows you to be more honest.
It does.
And the whole purpose of the book is for us to be honest with ourselves and acknowledge, and when I'm saying we, it's the point is for us to acknowledge and be honest with ourselves about the opportunities that we have for improvement. If we're going to do better, as parents, we do have to be honest.
Exactly.
And I'm big on the self-reflecting, I'm big on self-care, I'm big on just becoming whole as a person, because in order for you to properly and efficiently care for somebody else, you have to be well.
That's true.
So there's no way around that.
That's true.
And so by self-reflecting and kind of thinking back on those areas where you may have not been your best self, the best version of yourself, it allows you to move forward in a more positive light.
And I'm glad that you mentioned about the self-care part. So this part says, do not be, when you say, don't be afraid to get a maid or a babysitter.
Listen, I am a huge advocate for self-care. I am passionate about it. I believe that it is absolutely necessary. And I think that sometimes when people hear self-care, they have this specific definition of it. There is no black and white definition of self-care. Self-care is doing anything that makes you happy. That could be curling up in the bed with a book. That's actually one of my favorite things. That's one of my favorite methods. It could be going to get your nails done. It could literally be hiring a maid. Because I'm going to tell you, that's something that I struggled with. Because my Nana, I call her my Nana, my Nana didn't have a maid, okay? My Nana cleaned her house. She cooked for my grandfather. Neither did my mom. So sometimes when it's hard to do something that you haven't seen done before. And so it almost for a moment made me feel like I may have been less than a mom or less than a good wife, because I don't have time to do that. And if I do, I become so tired because I've worked all day, which is a lot of mom's story. I've been at work all day. I've coming home. Now I'm usually trying to spend some time with the kids. I got to help with homework. I got to get dinner on the table. And if your children participate in activities like mine, you got practice, you have everything going on. And so now you're looking around at your house like, when am I going to have time to do this? So by the time you do all of those things,
you're overwhelmed.
And you're beat.
Overwhelmed.
You're too tired to even hear about how your child's day went. So now how effective of a parent are you if that's the case?
That is true. I love it because I said, wow. Because it's like you have all these hats. And that's what we want to do. Our pride wants us to wear all these hats. We want to be the wife. We want to be the mom. We want to be still the friend, because, you know, and just all these hats. And it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So when you mentioned, you said, and not judgmental at all. You're like, it's okay.
Yes.
Swap with another family member.
Yes.
I love that idea.
Yes, because I don't want, everyone's situation is different. And I don't want someone who may not be financially able to do that right now. I mean, transparently, we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Exactly.
So if you're not able to do that financially, there are absolutely other ideas that you can do. Turn on a movie for your children in the living room and go in the room and have your bubble bath. Like that's a free method of self-care.
It is.
So you can absolutely do things like that. Yes.
I love it. And then I don't have to feel like I'm less of a parent or less of a mom because self-care.
That's right.
I need that self-care.
I hope I freed some moms with that.
You did?
Because
you did?
it is big.
It's not bad.
No, not at all. No judgment from me, I promise.
Exactly. I loved it. So also you mentioned, hey, we as parents, we have to work smarter and not harder.
Right. That's
a lot of points that you just mentioned of working smarter and not harder.
And that's a part of that tweaking parenting style. You know, previous generations didn't do that, and so that's a part of kind of transitioning into this new century is working smarter, not harder. We have so many things at our disposal. Like, why are we not using them?
Exactly. So I love it. I love it. We're gonna take another break. Please stay tuned to Let's Meet the Author.
Hey guys, it's your girl Tiffany here, your social media specialist with Eagle-Eye Video Maker. I just wanted to go ahead and reach out to you. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have thoughts where you're thinking, hey, why is my business not taking off? Why am I not getting enough traffic? I'm posting, I'm doing everything they're telling me to do on my Facebook and my Instagram pages. What's next? Guess what? Eagle-Eye Video Maker has the answer. We can help you promote your businesses. You guys ever thought about a commercial? Yes, we can help you. Go ahead and reach out to us. We can have something specialized just for you. Specialized commercials for your businesses, for your products to help take your business off the ground. So go ahead and send us a direct message. Yes, DM us, and we will go ahead and make sure that we send you our great introductory rates. Eagle-Eye Video Maker, again, is here for you and your business marketing needs.
When your business is ready to take that giant leap towards video, let Eagle-Eye Video Maker take care of all the production details. Our content creation team are experts in video production. Let Michael and Alice show you how video can make your business grow.
Thank you. Welcome back. So, we talked about a little bit before, and you mentioned how important how kids see us.
Yes.
Because you also mentioned it on page 41 on how kids see us. They're like sponges.
That's right.
And then you mentioned the part in the book say, ask your kids, you know, how do they see us? And I was like, I don't know if I want to ask my kids how they see us because I may not want to hear what they have to say. But I do realize it's important, but I don't know if I'm ready for it. So
that's right.
How can a parent be ready to ask their kids on how you know, to ask their kids that question?
I think that transparently there is no perfect time. But if you're going to ask them, because again, if we are serious about making this transition into becoming honestly the best parent that we can be, we have to have those uncomfortable conversations. We have to ask those questions that you really don't want to ask. And I asked my kids those same questions as I was writing the book. I'm like, okay, you can't be writing a book and you're telling these people to ask their kids and you don't even know what your kids think of you. So I absolutely did. And I've shared this example before where I had my moment of truth, if you will, or my light bulb
Right.
moment with my children, or in terms of my parenting style, was my daughter. So my daughter Jasmine, everybody that knows me knows Jasmine. Jasmine has a personality of her own. She creates her own lane, and she's not shy to tell you anything about how she feels.
Right.
So Jasmine told me that she wished that I were a mom that if she fell off her bike, that would say, "Oh, come here, baby, let me give you a hug." And so initially, like my initial reaction or instinct was like, "What do you mean?" Like I was offended.
mom.
I said, "I am a caring mom. What do you mean by that? I care if you fall." And so she's like, "No, Mom. If I fall, you'd be like, get up. You are okay. You're just fine. Let's go." And so I was like, "No, I don't believe you." So we picked up my son later, and I was like, "Guess what your sister said to me?" So I'm sharing the whole story with him, and he's like, "Mom."
Oh, he agreed?
He agreed.
Oh, my
and so
goodness.
in that moment,
Right.
I had to acknowledge, okay, I could either keep saying that I'm not that mom, or I can acknowledge what my children are clearly telling me in my face.
Exactly.
And so that brings up another point that I've shared with some individuals is that children have a love language.
They do.
And I learned that the hard way, because when you have more than one child, you have to kind of learn how to love them individually
That
on
is
an
so
individual
true.
basis. What worked
That's
for
so
one
true.
child doesn't necessarily work for the other one. And a lot of people utilize love languages, or they reference them in relationships with their
Exactly.
significant other. But there is a definite love language for a child,
is.
and some children may not respond to, spankings or punishment. Some
Right.
people just need conversation, or
Right.
some need, that affection. Some don't really require the affection. So it's just all about building that relationship and learning what your children require and need from you.
And that's also because you mentioned that the one size fit all does not work.
Not at all.
It does not work.
Not at all.
Because like you said, every child, even though they may be raised by the same parents
right.
in the same household, they each have their own personality.
That's right.
So communicating with them a little bit different, just like you said. So like one of my kids requires affection.
Yes.
Constantly, I love you.
Yes.
I love you, Mom. And I'm like, I love you too. And then one day I felt so bad. I was like, yeah, I love you too.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I love you. I love you. I know you love me. Okay. Because I was
Yes.
busy and frustrated, not with her, just with life. And
Absolutely.
then, then she didn't have a good day at work. I mean, at school.
That's right.
She did. And then some going, okay, well, why? Because do you really love me? Yeah. Yes, baby, I do love you.
And that's a good point, is that, sometimes as parents, we yell at our children, or because we haven't taken care of ourselves. We haven't taken that breakaway that we need. So we're frustrated because we've had a long day at work, or, maybe we're mad at our husbands, or whatever the case may be. And so we may lash out, or just kind of become very short with our children, and not necessarily on purpose. It's probably not intentional, but it does happen. And if you think about it, sometimes they shut down because as individuals or as adults, I don't want nobody yelling at me.
Exactly.
So, and they're entitled to have a bad day at school. I have bad days at work. Well, I didn't have a good day. And so it's important for us to hear them in those moments.
Exactly. And I also like how you gave different tips on how reaching out to children in the 21st century. I love it. You guys got to check out the book.
Yes.
All right. And then you gave tips on strengthening parent and child relationships. So you gave us the reason on why you wrote this book, all right, and you gave the main purpose. So where can anyone find your book if they want a copy? Where can they find your book?
My book is available. I actually have a website, and that website is www.mamagoatlife.com.
Perfect. And also now, we went through this, so what is one quote that you want to leave with the audience? Like one final thought.
There is a quote by an unknown person that is listed in the book, and I think it sums up this book perfectly. And that is, rules without relationship equal rebellion. If you don't have a relationship with your children and you're just dishing out rules at them,
agree.
they're eventually going to rebel.
I
So
agree.
we have to invest that time in building that honest relationship with them.
I agree. I really do agree. I may not feel like I need to, but I definitely agree.
Yes.
Thank you again, Alicia, for coming on the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know you're a mom, a wife, and so I definitely appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really have enjoyed this time. It was
I'm
really
glad.
good. Thank you.
Thank you. Your book was non-judgmental. It was inspiring, and it also gave me encouragement to know that, hey, I can raise
Good.
healthy children. Seriously, it really did,
Yes,
and I
thank
definitely
you.
appreciate you for writing the book
Thank you.
just coming on the show and talking about it.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Meet the Author with your host, Guilene Philmore. And until next time, Keep diving into those exciting adventures, keep acquiring new knowledge, and keep remaining inspired by simply reading a book. Until next time, please stay safe. Bye.
Bye-bye.